What's up guys, this is Wenzes. Welcome back to my channel where we talk about creating an epic life on your terms. And today's question is, are you busy but not productive? Do you feel like you go through life every day, you're stressed, it's a struggle, but your life kind of seems stuck. You don't seem to move forward and nothing really changes. Well, if this is the case, this is the right video for you because today we're gonna tackle this topic. So it's 2019, the distractions are off the roof, our attention span has gone down in the last 5 or 6 years, I think from 15 seconds to like something like 4. We're being bombarded with all kinds of social media, with expectations, with stress we put on ourselves, and on top of everything, we have people around us who are stressed as well, who also get into this thing where you feel like, oh, they're gonna have a mental breakdown soon or a burnout, and people around us are not helping us to get out of the situation. And most of all, we keep working, we keep doing all of those things, and still so many of us feel like we're not moving forward. Well, I've been there, I know exactly what we're talking about, but I was able to change all of that. I was able to actually look into priority management, make a couple of tweaks, and change my life, so now I actually really move forward. My life grows in all directions. I actually work less and create more outcome, and today I'm gonna teach you the basics of creating a priority management that works for you. A little reminder, if you want to dive deeper into this, check out the Epic Life Masterclass or sign up for the free mini course. The links are in the description because one of the pillars is actually priority management, where we talk about this in detail so you can start applying this today. And so the first thing you have to do is create goals, and I really am honest about this. So many people say, well, I want to be wealthy, or I want to have a great social circle, I want to be fit, I want to have fun in my life. But if you ask them, well, what are your specific goals? People say they don't know. If you ask them, what do you want to be in a year? What do you want to be in 5 years? What do you want to achieve? They're like, I don't know, but I've tried so much. I've tried everything. And I ask again, exactly, what are your goals? Have you really sat down and asked yourself this? And most of the time you'll see that people say no, because guess what? If you would sit down for 5 minutes for 1 week, every day, you'll have a goal list. And I'm talking about a real goal list. I'm not talking about, oh, I want to be happier, or oh, I want to be financially independent, or oh, I want to be an author. I'm talking about specific goals that are realistic and time bound. Those are the goals that actually make us move forward. I know they're great ways to visualize where we want to go, and it's a good thing to have big goals, but we need to break those down as well. So if you say, I want to be a published author in the next 5 years, then you need to have a plan. You need to know, okay, by the end of this year, I want to have a first draft. By the middle of next year, I want to have it edited, and I want to send it out to different publications. And then break that down even more. If you want to write that first edition of your book and you have 6 months, what are you going to do this month? What are you going to do this week? You really need to be that specific, and it has to be realistic. If you're somebody who's never worked out in your life and now you have this goal that is said, I'm going to work out 5 times a week, it's not going to happen. You have to be realistic, you have to be specific, and it has to be time bound. So even if you would say something, I want to see my friends more, not a good goal. You need to be very specific. Like, I want to meet 2 of my friends once a week. Write it down in a calendar, and not just for this week, but for everything until the end of the year. I personally always work with the 5 pillars of the Epic Life Masterclass, because that way I can really make sure that I have a holistic life. Because if you focus only on relationships, or only on money, or only on your health, you will feel burned out, because there's no balance. There'll still be a part of your life that you're not taking care of, and if this one becomes too heavy, if you completely neglect that, it will pull down all your energy, and the only energy you have left is for going to work, doing a job that you actually don't like, that just pays your bills. You go home, you just sit down in front of the TV completely exhausted, and all you can do is just eat, watch something, and then fall asleep. This is the life of the majority of all Western countries. That's just it. But that's not what people want. Most people that you will ask, they will tell you, I would want more of my life. I would want to be productive. I don't want to be just busy. If you're busy and not being productive, you feel so helpless because you're not taking control of your life. It's a crippling feeling, and it can be soul crushing. And it doesn't have to be this way. So set goals that are specific, time-bound, and realistic. In, for example, those 5 pillars, the first one is your physical energy management, the second one is your relationship management, the third one is your wealth management, the fourth one is your vocation and your passion, so your why, and the first one is priority management, which we talk about specifically here. So once you have all of those goals set, and don't be afraid of this. You might say, oh, I don't know exactly what I want. Well, sit down. As I said, sit down for 10 minutes for 5 days, every day, and I guarantee you by the end of those 5 days, you'll have a list of goals, and all of those 5 categories that are realistic, time-bound, and specific. By the way, if you want to have a little more insight into what each of those pillars entail, just check out the link on the Epic Life Masterclass. You'll get an overview and you can use that for your specific goal setting today. This, of course, is only the first step. But this first step, most people miss. Do not kid yourself. You think like, oh, if it would be so easy, why isn't everybody doing it? Because it's not easy. Because you have to force yourself to sit down, to look at your life, to admit to yourself that it's not going everything the way you want, and to make it specific. And the problem with making things specific is that you have to say no to something else. That you have to make a decision that actually narrows down your opportunities, that narrows down your possibilities. That you have to do that. So once you narrow it down, afterwards you can go broader again. And realize that just because you set those goals, it does not mean that after half a year, you can't take all the information you learned and switch some things up. But you need to have a plan and a goal list that you actually stick to for a while. So setting this up is a huge part. I personally put them in my calendar in my phone, and I really set things like do it once a week, every week from now on till the end of time. So I personally have always written down on Sundays in my afternoon family time. I always meet my family on Sundays and make sure I do not miss it unless I'm not in the country or I'm at some birthday party or something like this, because I know how important it is to me and I want to make sure that I stick to that. So I even write down things like that. I write down things like meditation. I write things down that help me develop my wealth management, and the list goes on and on. So once this is set, we get to the practical part of it. So if you were able to make that first step happen, as in set up this goal list, put it in your calendar, now we get to the implementation. So 80% of the people who actually want to do this, they say they don't even make this first step happen. But from the ones that actually make this first step happen, as in they sit down, they make a plan, they put it in their calendar, only a small percentage is then actually taking the steps to making this happen. That's why 97% of all people do not fulfill their dreams. But you're different and you're here, and I'm here to tell you how you can make it happen so much easier. You can make it in a way that does not overwhelm you, and you change who you are in the process, so things get easier and easier. Because you have to understand, as difficult as this might seem right now, it will never be as difficult as it is in the beginning. Once you start taking those steps, you'll see how this whole process not only becomes much easier, but it gives you energy that helps you to create even more. So when it comes to the implementation, I mainly work with Steve Covey's time management matrix. And this one is so easy, it's so interesting, and once you really get the concept, you get addicted to it in the best possible way. You have 4 categories. The first category are all things that are important and urgent. The second one are all things that are urgent but not important. The third one is of all tasks that are important and not urgent. And then the fourth one is of things that are not urgent and not important. Our brain is actually really good at making sure that we take care of all the things in the first list, in the first quarter, which are the things that are important and urgent. For example, paying your rent. You have to make sure that that money is paid so you have a roof over your head, and most people are good at this. They're also good at neglecting a little bit more of those things that are not important and not urgent. That's not always the case, but I think that one is rather easy. The interesting part is actually the second category and the third category. So what are tasks that, for example, are urgent but not important? One example for this is doing your laundry, because actually you have to do the laundry today, otherwise tomorrow you're not going to have clean clothes. An example for the third category, where things are that are important and not urgent, is, for example, you writing your book if you want to become an author. There is nothing urgent about this. Your life will continue the way it does right now without you writing this book. But if you don't do the laundry, which is in the second quadrant, guess what? Tomorrow you're not going to have clothes, so you're going to be in trouble. And this is where we come to the interesting part, which is that most people do 10 times more the things that are in the second quadrant than the ones in the third quadrant. I would say that most people actually completely neglect the third one and only focus on the second one. That is a perfect recipe to get into a state where you're busy all the time, but you're not being productive. So let's get back to our schedule, to our goal list. So let's say you have written down in your list that on Tuesdays, on Thursdays, you're gonna work on your book. And then your friend calls you up and says, I need your help with something. What do most people do? They actually say, of course I help you, right away, and they go and help their friend. I took this example specifically because it triggers us. None of us wants to be a bad friend. None of us want to tell our friend, well, I'm sorry, I cannot help you because I need to write on my book, but this is actually exactly what you should do. So let's say your friend calls you up on Sunday and says, please, I need to move on Tuesday and I really need your help. What are most people going to do? They're gonna say, okay, I'm gonna neglect the fact that I wanted to write. I'm just gonna only write on Thursday and I'm gonna help my friend on Tuesday. No, no, no. You can't do that, because we've made sure that we prioritize the things that are important and not urgent over the things that are urgent but not important. So So yes, helping your friend move might be an important task, but is it really as important as making sure that you're on track with creating your own life? I don't think so, and your friend wouldn't either. That does not mean that you can't help your friend, but that you make sure that if you spend Tuesday helping your friend, that you do the writing on Monday, for example, or you make sure definitely that you do it on Wednesday. You have to stick to those 2 days, and this is actually a complex situation. A much easier example, which still most people don't do, is if they realize on a Sunday where they said, oh, today I'm gonna work on my business or on my fitness or whatever it is that they want to do, that they want to create, even if it's something like meeting your family because it's important to you, and then you realize, oh, I need to do laundry today because otherwise I'm not gonna have clothes. What would most people do? They would say, oh, I need to do the laundry first. You, on the other hand, are gonna say, I'm gonna do the laundry after I'm done with the thing I've set for this day. You start with the thing that is important and not urgent before you do the thing that is urgent and not important. Because we're not machines. You can't just say, oh, I'm gonna do everything, because otherwise you would have done those things. But the urgent things we won't let go of. If you have to do laundry at 8 o'clock in the evening in order to make sure that you have clothes the next day, you're gonna do it. But if you've been doing laundry the whole day, I bet you won't sit down at 7 or 8 o'clock in the evening to write on your book. Oh, it's been a long day, I had to do so much. And just like that, another week has passed, another month has passed, and you have not moved forward. You've been busy all the time, but nothing has changed. You wanna get out of the rat race, you wanna get out of the matrix, you wanna create things and feel productive and not busy, then prioritizing the things that are important and not urgent over the things that are urgent and not important is going to be the fastest way for you to do this. And after you start doing this for a while, and it will feel uncomfortable, you'll feel like, oh, I have to do the laundry now, I have to. No, stop yourself. This is what you want to do. That's only a short-term solution. It's not the thing that will make your life move forward. Rather, you do the things that are on your goal list that you said you have to do, although they're not urgent. And before you know it, you get addicted to this whole thing. It gets exciting. You always want to do the things that are more important than the things that are only urgent. And you still get those urgent things done. And you realize that those things that you thought are urgent and important are maybe not even urgent and not important at the same time. And you can just neglect them because you will see you don't get everything done anyway. It's the one thing I want you to take away from this. This is the thing that made the biggest difference in my progress, in my success, in me creating this epic life on my terms, where I do everything I want to do and where I am in control of my life creation. You gotta condition your mind. You gotta condition your habits, and that's the way to do it. I really hope that helped you. If you want to dive deeper, as I said, check out the Epic Life Masterclass or sign up for the free mini course. If you want me to help you with coaching, also that information is in the description. I wish you, like always, a wonderful week, a great day, and if you like this video, give it the thumbs up and subscribe. See you next time. Bye.